Hi. So I had this whole idea in my head to talk about like synchronicities and my inner child. And then I came and sat outside of my car again and just like surrounded by trees and everything, and it started to make me want to talk about nature instead. So maybe I'll talk about all of it in one thing, or that'll be a separate video. This is probably gonna be all over the place. I have been realizing how much nature has an impact on me and my, not only my well-being, but also my, how would I word it, like my creative flow. And so I'm from the country, so I've always been an outdoorsy person and spent time outside, but I feel like coming back home, because I like left and not like coming back home, I've like, and being an adult, like growing up and also coming back home has made me find a new, it's like I have a newfound appreciation for my home and being outside and being in nature. And I found myself going on walks every single day and just being outside as much as I can be, and I've noticed how much healthier I feel, like not only physically but like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like in all of the ways it contributes to me feeling whole and feeling connected. And it's just so like nice, it's so beautiful outside right now, but it's just, I'm also very inspired by nature. Being outside right now is really reminding me of that, and I think that's what made me like think about it and want to focus on it. But not only does it make me feel better in those ways, like I said, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, but it also inspires me so much creatively. And a lot of what I've been writing and working on and commenting on has to do with nature and my connection to nature, and how I feel like every time I feel stuck or I feel lost or I feel anxious or overwhelmed, I can go for a walk and immediately feel grounded, or like I have a much more expanded perspective of the world. Like, it's not like everything just disappears, but it almost does feel like when I'm present in nature, it almost is like everything disappears for a moment and I'm able to really see the world for what it is and see things from a much larger, like I said, more expanded perspective than how I might have been viewing it before. It's like stepping outside allows me to breathe. I just like went on a rant in like a different direction. But yeah, like within that, I have found so much like connection in nature and so much creativity in nature. But yeah, okay, back to my point. What I was saying is like a handful of my poems and what I'm writing for the book, but just like in general, before I even realized I wanted to go in that direction, stemmed from nature and the world around me and everything that I am taking and gathering from it. And it's so cool and it's so beautiful having that connection. And it's interesting because I also talk about like the impact that like technology and social media and stuff has had. And I feel like when I was on social media, it like took me away, like it took my attention away from nature and the world, the real world around me. And I think that did have a big negative impact on my mental and emotional well-being, and now I feel like I'm getting back connected to myself through getting connected to nature, in the world around me. But yeah, I guess I don't know what I'm saying. But like, I guess like I feel like creativity goes hand in hand with nature and connection to like the natural world and like the real world, like in real time or in real life or whatever. And it's just like had such a great, beautiful impact on my creative process, and my ability to be in tune with myself and in tune with God in order to create and be the person that I am and create what I am creating. And I just think that's so cool and so important to talk about and share. And I just feel more and more, I just feel more and more at peace and connected and in tune the more I go outside and the more I am connected to everything. The more I pay attention, the more that I'm present. And it's also shown me like I've been able to become more aware of like the negative things, which I think is also very important, and that creation process of like understanding the world around you and then creating from that perspective, and like creating from and commenting on like the good and the bad. And like going from my like walks, I notice all of the waste and like material consumption and everything going on with like the weather and climate change and the natural disasters, on top of like people who are just experiencing a completely different world from me. And it's just all like interconnected and intertwined, and I wouldn't be aware of that and be having that experience if it wasn't for me going outside and like paying attention. Yeah. I keep like going this way and then going that way with what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think my like main point was the importance of like nature and the impact it's had on, and it fuels me, and my ability to be an artist. Like with the seasons changing, with the different is it gonna turn it off or are you gonna keep going? With now I'm like, is he gonna turn it off or is he gonna keep going before I start back talking? But like with the seasons changing and with the way that the trees grow and with the animals and just all of it, I'm realizing the inner connection that it has with my life, and like how I might change and grow, or how like relationships in my life or things in my life might change or grow or look different. I had a point and then that noise distracted me. Oh my goodness, I had a point. Oh, found it. I realized, and this is like a whole nother topic, a whole nother video, but I realized the connection that I have to music, which I kind of talked about a little bit in the last video, but like I feel even more connected to music than I realized I was. And I have been interested in potentially turning some of like my written work into like spoken word audio type of things, or into songs. And it's so wild how nature has inspired me with that too. And I guess it is kind of going into like the synchronicities of things. But like I was going for 1 hour walks, and I go early in the morning, like before I go to work, and I always hear birds chirping and just all the different sounds. But this morning, like not today, but just this morning that I'm referring to, I heard like the birds chirping, and it almost sounded like I noticed it or heard it in a way that I hadn't heard it before. And it was like I could hear music within the birds chirping. And so I kept like listening to it and would mimic the bird sounds to kind of make it into like a tune or a melody, or would just gather from the bird sounds. And it was just really cool, like that whole process of like, wow, like I'm creating from nature, and getting energized and getting this inspiration and motivation from just these things that are naturally occurring around me. And it went so well with like the type of work that I'm doing and I'm trying to create. And that goes into like the point I'm making of being so like powerfully impacted by nature and by that. But yeah, I guess that does kind of go into the point of synchronicity too, because I feel like synchronicity has a lot to do with, and I can make a whole other thing on that because that's like a whole other point, but it has a lot to do with paying attention, being present, and paying attention to the things you see and the things you hear and the things you're encountering in life, including that of nature. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else to touch on with that. Just nature for me anyway has been a very powerful source of energy, like that's fueling me through a lot of things. And I feel like it's like that for so many other people. And I've just been trying to think of words, like noticing it in like different books that I'm reading and when I talk to different people and with myself in my own life. And I just thought that was really cool to share, especially I find beauty in like all of the seasons, but especially as the seasons are changing and we're getting into spring and it's getting warmer, I notice it even more. But yeah, still no outro. Bye. See y'all next time, whenever that may be.